Hello, everybody. Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. So many things going on right now. I got two topics today to get into. So different, but everything relates to each other sooner or later. But this is going to be the truth, people. I know most people aren't ready for it, want it, can deal with it. But we're going to start in the UFO world with aliens and UFOs. The government doesn't like the word UFOs, so they created unidentified aerial phenomena. All right, basically because they want to take attention off of UFOs and create more of the stigmatism of like it's not a UFO, it's just strange phenomena, strange energy, and nobody has a clue. A UFO is a UFO, people. A UFO is not phenomena. A ghost is not phenomena, but we can call it whatever we want. A spirit, an angel, a demon, whatever. They're entities. They're real. Whether you want to deal with them or not, that's your choice. Whether you think you deal with them or not is another thing. But on this planet, we got one major thing to deal with: karma. And we got to pay it off before we die, as much as of it we can, because it determines what kind of life we're going to come back to, or if we have to come back at all. I'm going to tell you straight out, by actual experience, not just hearing, reading other people's baloney stories. Soul, when it dies, leaves the body. But depending on how much karma you have, got a real lot of karma and no spiritual energy at all, you might become a ghost. You might stay here, thinking you can haunt your family or friends or whatever. And like that's really important. People that deal with that are delusional, because a ghost or a spirit can't help that much, period. They can't stop a car from hitting you. And I mean, oh, well, it was a miracle. They must have saved me. Miracles happen because things just happen, not because there's an angel standing over you and protecting you. Angels have a mission. Everything in life and death have a mission. Whether you want to face it or not, it's a different story. Angels are real. Deities are real. And God is the most important out of it all. If you want to relate to the universe, go right ahead. See where that gets you. See where it gets you when you die. Oh, Christ consciousness. Do you know Christ? How could you have a consciousness of Christ if you don't know Christ? Who is Christ? Do you even have a clue? Well, the Bible. The Bible is a bunch of people writing stories. All the things you read in books are written by a person. God never wrote a book. Aliens never, I mean, I'm not going to say aliens work with people to try to write things, but as far as writing, we got nothing really important. Hieroglyphics, 90%, maybe even more, of hieroglyphics are useless information. Why? Let's start with the show Ancient Aliens. It's been on 16 years. Do you know that, people? 16 years of bullshit. They say it's the same thing over and over. Maybe, could be. Oh, what if it is? Maybe they had you. What? Aliens might have been here? Might have been here? They have been. But here's the thing, people. Nobody understands aliens do not come to planet Earth to save us. Well, there's good and bad, and no, there's not. All right, let's put it this way. On the planet, how many good people we have? Oh, a lot. How many bad people we have? A lot. How many people know anything about a real God? None. So out of 8 billion people, how many people you think have a clue to what God really is, what God wants, and why you're even put here? Very few souls. You probably can count them on your hands and feet. People, priests, ministers, rabbis, the Pope, Dalai Lama, all these high names and what do you call it, titles, don't make you anything. You might believe your ego is better than theirs, and within your ego, and then want money and everything else. Everything's based on money. All right, the new movie coming out, They Kill the Pope. All right, the most powerful man on the planet. No, he's the most ignorant man on the planet. I would debate him in a second, anywhere, anytime, like anybody else. Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle, taking over a big population of followers, have nothing important to say. Oh, be happy. Live in the moment. Wow, that's all you can do. And the second thing is, they can't talk about God. They can't talk about death. They can't talk about reincarnation. They can't talk about anything that's important to you. What religion do you follow? There's over 2,000 religions. Only 2 have the highest population, and I'm sure you know what they are. Christianity and Muslims. Christianity has 2.5 billion people. Muslims have 2.3 billion people. And then best take the rest of that and put it into the 2,000 religions, plus the people that don't believe in any kind of anything. All right. So how do we move forward from there? Well, in the UFO world, we have all these speakers, all right, going on about aliens helping us, and we got this from the aliens, we got that from the aliens helped the Egyptians, the aliens helped the Mayans, the aliens helped the Aztecs. Why did they all killed and wiped out? All right. The Egyptians have no proof of understanding of death. All the hieroglyphics that they were given, or however they wrote it, why, are lies. Have nothing to do with really dying and reincarnating. And they practice it. All right. Then the other thing is, do you know anything about the first races that were here? No. They came here in Atlantis. They were brought here. 9 races. But let's go past that. Atlantis was destroyed. There were only 4 races left. Black, red, yellow, and white. All right. The rest left. But they were programmed. The Anunnaki, another ridiculous name, was not God, not even close to a God, didn't create the human race. All they did was reprogram man. And it's easy to reprogram people by, I call it hypnosis, power of suggestion, like Mr. Trump's trying to do to the world and everything else. But it's not like they made us. They didn't take us and build a body and put a soul inside it. No, they can't do it, never did. No race can. No race is our God. People, well, they're going to help save us. Save us from what? Ourselves? Our ego? If God wanted everybody to be spiritual, we all would be. But we're not. It's not something that's given to anybody. You got to attain it. Alien races come here. Let's deal with that, people. Well, they were helping the Mayans do what? Helping the Aztecs do what? Build giant buildings for what? Oh, bring energy in. For what? All these suggestions and ideas are totally off the wall, ridiculous, crazy. They should be in a nut house. Suggesting it. Richard Dolan. Well, I believe. Really? You believe in nothing. You don't know what an alien even looks like for real. You never met one. You were never next to a UFO. You were never next to anything. A Bigfoot. You know, I was. So, you know, people, when you listen to these people, well, I think about what? Now, Lou Elizondo, he promised to come on my show one day, and I'll see if that ever happens, but I want to get my show up to par. Government took my shows down. I lost my YouTube site for a little while. I got it back. I've been losing a lot of different things. I've lost all my sites. It was hacked. Luckily, I still have my UFO pictures and certain things. All right, on multiple levels of hiding and protection and stuff like that. But I can't release them. They're 99.9 point copyrighted, meaning I can't show most of them publicly. Well, I did with my ex-UFO partner for years, 1996 to 2002. And then years later, the person I'm talking about, we did shows on Kerry Cassidy for 9 months, showing 5 new pictures of UFOs, not dots, dashes, circles, wind and current, UFOs. And people didn't really care in 96, 97, 98. And that's when a lot of things started going down. A lot of the UFO people disappeared, taken out. 16 of my friends were taken out in the UFO world. 16. One of my closest friends, since I was little, his whole family was taken out in 2 days. All right. I'm not going to go into the story. But I dealt with everybody in the UFO world. That was important. I mean, all these other names are not really important in the UFO world because they tell stories, they make up stories, and they exaggerate the truth to fit their needs. But when it comes to real UFOs, we had pictures of every kind of ship. So that means, guess what? There's many races coming here. But most of them don't do a thing here. They can't. And if they try to help, they're not allowed to stay here either. All right. And there was, well, maybe Tesla was meeting with an alien. Maybe Einstein was meeting with an alien. Aliens? Yes, they were. Einstein, in his personal notes, said he was met with a race in his visions. All right. Tesla worked with aliens directly. He came up with 200 inventions that did not exist on this planet, most deadliest weapons on this planet. How did he do that? Going to college? Going to school? No. He had a bad dream? No. Everything he created was real. He had them all copyrighted. The HARP system, time travel, an earthquake machine. All right, in the 1900s, people, what college did you go to get any of that kind of knowledge? And they can't even teach it now. People, you listen to TV. Sure, there's truth on there if you squeeze through the little craps and crannies of what's on TV. All the UFO shows, how much real truth? This is a simulated picture of what happened. This is a simulated picture of what happened. All right? The few of Bigfoot are real. Well, nobody wants to even admit that. I was a foot away from a Bigfoot. They're real people. That was in Jersey. I came close to 2 in Oregon. So they're out there, people. And I know that for a fact. I can go into stories, but I'm not. This ain't a Bigfoot show. But did they kill one? Yeah. I don't know if anybody knows about New York City. We had a museum being opened in New York City in the 1900s. They had a Bigfoot. And they were going to show it in the museum when it opened. The theater, the whole place burnt down that night. Wonder why? How? Why? How come? Think about it. All right. There's a group of people called MJ-12. They're real. They're more powerful than the president or anybody else in the United States. They do what they want, like Trump thinks he can do. But they did, as far as removing people and things like that, removing areas and you name it. I could go on. I'm not going to say too many things. I don't want to get attacked, which I don't care. But I'm just saying, I don't want to lose my show. YouTube's real fussy about a lot of things. When it comes to the word medicine, can't say it. Or anything about it, I can't do it. If I even mention the word, I get my show taken down. So we're not going to go that way. Who gave us it? Where did it come from? And all that. Not going to go into that either. Call me. Text me. You want to learn about medicine? Want to learn about things that are real or really important? Email me, hawksblood1AOL.com. Right now, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I'll get back into the right now a little bit after I finish the UFO thing. All right. I've been involved in the UFO world since I was 6 years old. I saw my first alien live twice. I saw my first UFO. I was right next to it. It landed in my yard. So is it real? Was it the government? No, it was not. All right. How to determine the difference between a UFO and a satellite? Real easy. A UFO can do anything it wants in space. Get bigger, get smaller, change direction, stop, go backwards, any of that. A satellite cannot. A satellite just goes from here to here, one straight line at one speed. That's all it can do. It doesn't stop flashing lights at you. It doesn't do anything else. Realize most of them are little. I mean little. All right? One of the first ones was the size of a trailer. But a lot of them, they put 100 or up to 1,000 on a ship even. All right? I don't know if you remember Musk when he put all his ships up in a big chain up in the sky. I don't want to get into him right now. Let's go back to these UFOs that are here. All right. They've been promoting, due to Elizondo, a tic-tac, a ball of light that, and then they called Foo Fighters when the Air Force used to fly, and they saw these little balls of light going around the ship and things like that. What are they? Phenomena. Because we don't know what they are. You know what they are, but you can't tell anybody. What did the government do with aliens, people? Do you have a clue? If you don't, Truman realized there was UFOs and aliens. And he created MJ-12 to override everything to make sure it doesn't go public. All right? Now, Eisenhower came after Truman. He was the next president. but he had to follow through with what was already set up. He kind of wasn't in agreement with everything, but he did. Laura Eisenhower, I'm not going to get into her story. I did a show with her, and we had 120,000 people listening to our show, and she agreed with every word I said. She wouldn't go against one thing I said. And she would say to me, "You know more about my father than I do." I said, "I sure do, because you don't know nothing about him." Your grandfather, sorry. All right. Her mother was majestic. What? Majestic what? What did she do? I did a show for 12 years with two people. Well, mainly one person, always, who worked at Area 51. Bits and drabs. Her husband worked there as well. I'm not going to go into that whole story. I dealt with people involved at the highest level in the UFO world. 16 of the ones that I knew were taken out. The people speaking in that realm right now, not one of them was next to an alien. Not one of them was inside a real UFO. Now, the word that's coming out in the UFO world is experiences. It's a plural, because what it means is they were taken on a ship and reprogrammed. What they tell you, what they thought they were taught, what they saw, is all a program in their mind. Even the most famous people in the UFO world right now, I'm not going to say his name, but he was a musician, cartoon artist, and all that kind of stuff. But he claimed all this stuff. They showed him videos of the past, present, and future. Obviously, it's not real. Is he that brain dead? Like many of the UFO people said we were going to be dead, the world was going to be destroyed within 2 years, 20 years ago, 18 years ago, even 5 years ago. We're still here, aren't we? Now, the difference between the United States, Russia, China, and Japan, all those countries, is we have been working with aliens first. All you're going to hear is Russia and Germany were dealing with aliens. The ships that they built, German ships, were not able to travel in space at all. Weren't like drones, the speed or anything even. They were not super technology. Aliens do not come here, or did not come here, to make us more advanced in any way, except one way: weapons. Tesla worked with an alien race. I don't know what race it was. In his personal notes, he wrote it straight out. I can go into the story about Tesla, which even Mr. Musk has no clue about. And I told him, you want the truth? Call me. When you grow a pair of balls, call me, and I'll give you the truth about certain things you have zero knowledge of. Now, he's going to be a multi-trillion. Let's skip Trump for now. I keep bringing his name in because he's so involved with everything and knows nothing. All right. When I was dealing with these people, one of the top people in the UFO world, he's dead. I'm going to say his name. He was an incredible guy, probably one of the most important people in the UFO world at the time. Maybe I won't. But he said he was in charge, the highest level in the United States. They were working with 27 alien races then, when I was lecturing from 96 on. All right. And then he said, they're not all good. They smell like hell and different things like that. But he talked about it a lot. That was his speech many times. What some of them are doing, what some of them want to do. But they don't help us with our lives. They're giving us weapons, and that's all they do. They want to a few races want to destroy the planet, destroy the people on the planet, while other races want to keep us here because they need food. All right, here's the thing, people. There's thousands of alien races out there. Many of them fly by planet Earth. I filmed we filmed maybe 30, 40 different kinds of ships. Not the same race. Billy Meyer's ships, which was filmed over and over, but again, he did a lot of stupid things, were used in the 1900s, okay? They don't fly around in the same ship anymore. Do we fly around in the same car that we first built? Do we fly around in the same plane we first built? And they're thousands of years and more advanced than we are, and they're going to fly around in the same ship that they had then? We change every 25 years. We take a giant leap in science and technology. 10 years it's a wave, but in 25 years it's a flip into something different. From a radio to a TV, all right, to internet. All right, we took giant steps all along the way. Well, our movement's only been since the 1900s. All right, I mean, going into guns and weapons, that's a whole different ball game. But when we move forward, what we think we did, when all these races come here, they don't stick around. The people that work with these different races left. Why? Because here's the thing, people, and I'll explain it the way I explain it always. Have an arena filled with 1 million people. Have 1,000 people come in with machine guns, bazookas, and everything else. Who do you think's going to walk out of there alive? Anybody? Who do you think's going to win? When alien races come here, if they're not, quote, good, they don't get to hang around. The races that are here are massive killers. And people, what do you think they come here for? 2 things. Figure it out yourself. Not for love, not for sex, not for compassion, not for the Bible. What's left? What does every person need in life? That's what they need in life as well. All right? The ships they fly now are incredible. They do almost anything. I can see pictures of ships every night I go out. Real ships, I mean. They're sounds. No, they're not. I can go into all that. I don't want to waste all the time talking about things that happen. We're in a serious stage right now. If I go out any night, I spend 2 hours I'll tell you the time that I feel is the most important time to go out. Why do you have all these experiences? Because I'm out all the time, watching the sky. When I go hiking, I go out into the woods and just stare at the sky and places and things. You're not going to see anything in the sky if you don't look. Not every ship's going to come down and say hi to you. That's for sure either. Who are you? A grain of sand on a great big ball, right? So why would they need to come down and say hi to you? Well, they come up with reasons how and why they picked Tesla. I have no clue. That I don't know. But I do know they gave him everything he knew. All the inventions he created did not exist. He was involved with the first plane that flew across the ocean. He was involved with everything. But where did his knowledge come from? Again, not from humans. We didn't have the worst weapon on the planet, or was the worst weapon, is called HARP, HARP system. All right, it is deadly. It has to do with chemtrails. It has to do with a lot of things, why all this stuff is happening. But learn about it. I called the White House when I first found out about it. And they sent me a package in the mail overnight. A 50-page document of lies, which I threw out. I said, they're so full of it. I should have kept it to prove what liars they were and how they're covering up everything. I can go into stories, but do you want stories or do you want the truth? Want stories, call me up and ask me about any particular thing, and I'll go into stories about it. Why I did a show for 3 years, she just pulled off a couple months ago. Tina Bird. Excuse me. I drunk real bad, sorry. But lots of things are happening to her right now. Her story is incredible. We will probably be starting a show in a month or 2, maybe. Tune in. Hawksblood 1 on YouTube. All right. Tommy Hawksblood. All right. Here's the thing. She can see UFOs over her house any night she goes out. And take pictures of them. I see them in the morning, early morning. When I see really cool things, my camera freezes. Meaning they completely know what we're doing when we're staring at them. If they want us to see them, they will. If they don't, they could block themselves. I mean, I could see one, go to put my camera on, and they blink out. Or I was hitting one with a green laser. It was a yellow ball of light and turned green for about 3 seconds. Shut my laser out, and then it turned yellow. Did it 3 times, but the 3rd time it just disappeared. They're not stupid. They're not spiritual. So what's that leave? Scientifically smart And what's that mean? Technology taking us further and further away from what the Earth is. Everything on planet Earth was perfect. Everything that grows, everything that's here was. We contaminated everything, and if you believe in Adam and Eve, they put thorns on the plants and everything else because of what they did. But the truth is, we're destroying the planet. Everything Tesla gave to the United States is going to slowly destroy us. All right? Free energy is not free energy. Cars that run on energy are using batteries. When I was 14, there was a car that ran on water. It lasted about a year until that whole thing disappeared. There was a company called Better World Technologies. He invented free energy from the device Tesla invented. But he could put it on a person's property and produce the energy for the house. He went to put them on people's properties and said, pay me when you can, because the government was chasing him. He was put in jail a couple times, taking money from people and the false things. He created a paint that you can put over an egg and hit it with a blowtorch and it won't even heat the egg up. He created the dome homes, and he also created jackhammers that made no noise and all kinds of things. But he was on a run constantly. But when he was involved in dome homes, I almost got involved with building them. But another story. Where to get his knowledge from? Now, I'm going to try to bring so many things together. When chemtrails came out publicly here in Hawaii, the person that was involved with that did 2 movies. What in the world are they spraying, and why are they spraying? They're free. They're online. Watch them. All right. He explained about chemtrails. You could buy a kit for $50 and measure the air, the water, and everything else, and know what's in it that's killing you. All right. Now, there's a reason for that. I'm not going to go into the whole story, but it involves with HAARP, HAARP, why they spray chemtrails. All right. He went around the world to every country. Nobody would listen to him. He had papers. They wouldn't even take his papers. They would just turn their head and walk away from him. We've been using chemtrails since the late 50s, but not for the same reasons that they're using it for now. All right. But they're real. And it has to do with the HAARP system as well, why it's needed for the HAARP system. They could hit anywhere on the planet with the HAARP system anytime they want. But different story. I want to keep it with what's going on in the alien world right now. Getting back to the word plural of experiences. One was on a ship, and they showed us the universe. They took us to this world, and they showed us this, and they showed us that. No, they didn't. Their body couldn't go through that kind of a change, or whatever you want to say. Second of all, they brought on a ship and programmed, and they're being operated on, taking their blood, taking their semen, taking everything they can from that person. Right? They got machines that could read their minds. They can take the brain. I'm not going to go into all that, but it's not about helping humans become better people. And the only way that can become real is if it became more spiritual. And nobody wants to face the truth about spiritual truth. There's only one, and it has a 3-letter word that relates to it. Not angels, not deities, not religion, temples, churches, or anything like that. One word, short word. But alien races have no clue. They play with us because they feel, for our definition of God, they feel they are that. They can do what they want with us. And most people, they can. I can't be abducted. I stopped my brother from being abducted in the hospital when I was little. They can't come near me. All right? Energy, which we radiate, we're going to become star beings, interdimensional beings. We're going to become... No, you're not. Not in this body. Not in this world. But we do have an aura. We do have energy. We're spiritual or not. And there's very few spiritual people, like I said. Spiritual means you are protected in many ways. Not your body in general. Sure, when spirit is guiding you and protecting you, it tries to keep you alive the best it can. But you have to be deserving of that. How do you become deserving of God? Think about it. I go to church every Sunday. It has nothing to do with God. What do you read? The Bible. has nothing to do with God. How much is talking about God in the Bible? Moses said, "Oh, I saw a burning bush." I could put it next show. You see the burning bush on many of my shows, which I shot. Did I claim to be Moses? Really? He wrote the Ten Commandments. Did you hear me? And he didn't like them, so he wrote 63 more. Read Revelation. Read the Bible. Read the Old Testament. Those things he wrote were ridiculously crazy, and nobody could follow them. No Hasidic Jewish person on this planet could follow the 63 laws of Moses, even though they claim they do. What they do to women alone takes them out of what they're saying they are. People, when a religion attacks women, they're not following God. God never said men are better. Sure, the story of Adam and Eve, women were taken from the ribs of Adam. No, it's not. That's a bullshit story. Who wrote it? Adam? All right. Then again, aliens were here. If you read it, I'm going to give you an assignment to do. Read Adam and Eve 3 times. Read it slowly. Listen to what God says. Listen to what they say. Listen to what's being said in it. They're all lies. Listen to what God says he is. All right? You'll understand what kind of story it is, not pertaining to God or Jesus. All right? The Pope said it was a fake story recently. He also said hell doesn't exist. He says a lot of ridiculous things. Not sure why, but he's not a good person. So the movie coming out when they kill the Pope's not a bad movie. Check it out. It starts Friday. But again, where do people get the idea men think they're better? I think that's the only place they could really get that idea from. Well, we were here first and they took women out of us. No. Second of all, soul, which we are, is not male or female. Oh no, it's male. No, it's not. When you leave this lower plane, you go to the Esther plane. You could be a male or female, but be any age you want and stay that way. But when you leave that realm, you let go of your genitalia. You become more light. It's useless anyway. And the higher you go, you become more light and energy, not a person, not a penis or whatever. It's so different when you start learning the truth about what soul is rather than what ego is. Now, here on this planet, when the aliens came here, Atlantis was probably the Garden of Eden. It was. I mean, I was there. It was incredible. All right? But aliens couldn't do anything with them people. So they decided to destroy it. But here's the thing. There were 9 races. 5 races left when that started happening. They were spiritual enough to leave. But the ones that stayed, black, yellow, red, and white, were all programmed to be massive killers, rapists, sacrifice children and women. The perversion that they fed them in the name of power, the word would probably be deity or alien, not gods. GODS doesn't exist. I use the word little gods for the fact that they're deities, and most people don't know what the definition of a deity is. And they're real. I work with 3 different ones as well, of different deities. They're real, really incredible. Depending on which ones you work with. Satan's real. He's a live entity. Lucifer's an angel. He's not a demon. So the Lucifer worshippers are making up a whole creating idea of an evil being that they follow. I was a high priest at 16. I knew much more than anybody I knew, that's for sure. I learned many psychic abilities and realized they can't be used on this planet in this time frame, or they'll destroy the planet even faster. Now, the only thing that exists now is money, and that leads to power. But aliens aren't here for any of that. They're here for food, not knowledge. Now, getting to Tesla once before I change the subject. Tesla worked with an alien race in New Jersey, up near the northern part of New Jersey. And when that all went down, they flooded the city. The whole city, they flooded it. They had to buy all the people out and flooded the city. Why would they do that? Now, the ruins where my ex-friend and I went to do our UF research is government property now. There's signs all around it. It's right near the bridge that separates New York and New Jersey. And basically it says, warning, you will be shot if you get caught on this premise. And the signs are all around it. We went in there every other night from maybe 9 o'clock to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Every other night we filmed at least 1,000 pictures. How do I see a UFO? How do I see things? Putting time in. You don't have to go fishing and put the pole in the water and pull up a fish right away. It's a matter of putting time in. It's not like every fish is jumping on your pole because you're there or whatever. No, UFOs just pop out because you're there. They got their mission, their life, and it's not around you going out and looking at them. When they want the world to see that they're here, they will. When I was born in 1952, a fleet of ships went over the White House. Everybody saw it. Everybody. All right, it wasn't drones, it wasn't Russia or China or Germany or nothing like that. Happened twice in a week. And that's when they decided MJ-12 had to be in play to stop people from spreading the story and creating stories from it. All right, while that was going on, years later, aliens were coming here. Have always been coming here, but a lot more now, and nobody knows about it. Sure, there's a slip up here and there. How many times could you do something without making a mistake? No matter how spiritual or religious or smart you are. Look at people like Musk, one of the richest people on the planet, making more mistakes than any other person that I could imagine on this planet other than Trump. So what was going down? Aliens needed food. What they did with our government, they traded people for weapons. Seriously, people, it's a fact. Whether you want to know it or not, that's what went down. You think the government can come out and say, well, we were selling 10,000 people a year so that we can have these nice, cool weapons? No, it wasn't like that. They had an alien in the White House, just so you know, a real one. They tortured an alien because he said one person's going to destroy the world, and they tried to make him say what person it is. There's a video online. It's on the internet. It's real. I think it's a 3-part video. It was on TV, short part of it. People don't want to believe that. Well, you know, people have a problem with truth. That's all I can live by. I can't live by a lie. I won't bring people near my show if I know they're a liar. All right, we don't have time to deal with all the bullshit that's coming out right now. We're destroying the planet faster and faster. Oh, the idea of a nuclear weapon. You know that's so outdated? There was a proton bomb, neutron bomb, electron bomb. All right? They're all as bad as each other, but they're not the worst. Now, something that the United States is using, directed energy weapon. All right? You could use it anywhere on anything. But that's just one weapon that was exposed rather recently. Tesla gave him 50 deadly weapons a long time ago. Harp system was one of them. Time travel machine was another. All right. But in the interim, all these weapons that he gave, he said in his dying days, when he was dying, he said, they won't know how to use them. And they sure don't. Meaning use them wisely. You don't use weapons wisely. You really can't. Killing is against all spiritual laws. And when your president tells you to go to another country and kill those people, he's evil, and if you do it, you're just as evil as he is. If the president, Mr. Trump, came out and said, kill your parents right now, Would you do it? Well, he said I can do it, so I'm going to do it. Really? You know, he's going to be a dictator. If he gets in, it's going to be the end of life as you know it. Right now, he feels he's immune to everything, which if we give in, everybody that's with a brain, he'll win, and he will become a dictator. Go to a country that has dictatorship. I'm dealing with a country right off of Italy where one of my students is. You know, everybody in that country gets paid the same. Doctors, lawyers, teachers, sick people, all get paid the same. You can't open a business unless it's a government business under the government's name. He's a martial artist, one of the top martial artists there. He can't charge to do or teach his martial arts. It's horrible. But they'll pay for operations. They'll give you the medicine that you need and things like that. But you're in a real controlled, sick environment. You want dictatorship? Now, I don't know how much more you want to know about aliens, but they're real. They're really here. They're not good. No good alien race is here. When a person says, well, they taught me what? What did they teach you? What can you prove? What can you show us that's beneficial to the human race? All the weapons Tesla got are not beneficial in the long run. You can people that talk about global warming, Trump doesn't even believe in it. But Al Gore, who came out with the word global warming, all right, he never said how it can be stopped or what it really is. He just said the effects of it. He was paid millions of dollars. The person that paid him had to leave the country and all that. Pull up the facts. It's all there. Global warming, okay? If you haven't noticed, the world's changing greatly every year. And they said, oh, it's going to take 10 years for this to happen. It happens in 1 year. The worst storms. A good friend of mine in the UFO world, top psychic for a long time, put in jail, 150 false charges, came out with prophecies. He prophesied 9/11 1 year to the day before it happened. In front of 250 people. I was there in New York City. Detail by detail. Everything that happened. How do you know? Where did it come from? I'm not even going to go into that. But he did. And he said it. I came down on him for years later saying, why didn't you go there and stand in front of it at least? If you knew it was really going to happen. You know, when a psychic gets this vision and say, oh, this is going to happen. If they don't stop it, the vision is useless. When Noah, all right, when he was given his vision, did he do what he was shown? Of course he did. If he didn't, what would happen? Lot, you know the story a lot? And what happened when he was told, when the city's destroyed, don't look back, and his wife did, and she turned to dust? They proved it was hit by meteorites. So that could have been how it was actually destroyed. But, you know, this is a real world. Things have to happen in the situations that we live in. I mean, if a dragon comes down, it won't be a real dragon walking down, chopping down people. It'll be a fireball or something crazy. But it'll be real that we can relate to it, knowing that it's real. Ghosts coming down and eating people in the streets and stuff. You're not going to see that happen anytime soon. Anything could happen in a distant future. But we created a sad serial situation that's going to happen in the next 6 years. Now, before I go into Trump and Musk, pull up UN Agenda 30. It's real. It was accepted by 193 countries. 193. It's a lot of countries that believe it's important and we should be in one world order. But what's going to happen, what it actually means, is dangerous. Musk is leading us right into it. AI will be the destruction to a lot of people on this planet. I mean, when Musk came out and said, well, AI is going to get rid of all the little jobs. All the little jobs. What's that mean? The little people? The poor people? The homeless people that are trying to live and have a stupid little job? Let's not give them a job. Let them starve out and die. All right. What about the homeless people? All these things. What was he talking about? Then 2 weeks later, we've got to be careful about AI. Well, a couple things. They asked AI who's going to be president. They agree it's going to be Kamala. They asked AI what the future is going to look like. It looks like Mr. Musk's future dream of his space city. But that's not anytime soon. And he probably will not be here. If the world survives, there's always an opposite side to everything that can happen. Due into creating the amount of crime that's going on, not because of stupid-ass Trump saying it's the people coming into the country. It's because of the people inside our country. Do you realize the Spanish and the English and the British killed 50 million native people? Killed them. Women and children. Wounded Knee was a slaughter of women and children. Believe it or not, I was there in my other body, past life. But it was a slaughter. I mean, when the actual cavalry came in and stuff, it was horrible. They raped the women. That's why there's so many half-breeds. Half-breeds means half white, half Spanish, and half native. Because they were raping everybody like they do, like the army does when they go into another country. When anybody goes in and there's women there. When they rob a bank, when they're robbing a house. It's sick. Men are sick. 99.9%. Egotistical. Mind programmed. All right. So now, Mr. Musk, I'm going to start with him before I go to Trump. Musk moved so he didn't join the army. All right. He's another one with a gold spoon up his butt, no matter what he says. All right. Sure, he made money. He makes money. When you make money, when you make lots of money, somebody's paying for it. Money doesn't fall from the sky. It doesn't come out of the ground. It comes from people's pockets. So he was making tons of money. And what did he do with it? Invested, buy things and fight and buy more, get more money. So when he became a billionaire, he had more power than most people, and he thinks he's God now as well as Mr. Trump does. He gave Trump $80 million. The months before, he gave them $60 million. Why? Why would the richest person, he will be the first trillionaire on our planet within 2 years. Why would he do that? Because he doesn't want to pay taxes. He's talking about taxes or blah, blah, blah. He doesn't want his taxes attacked. And Trump goes, I'm not going to raise the taxes on rich people. No, he's going to raise it on the poor people. Do you understand that? Do you understand anything about dictatorship? Read it. Do you understand anything about the Constitution? Read it. You have no clue what the Constitution even means. Why it was created. How it was created. And now the other thing that was illegal when it was created was how we vote. Electoral votes went against poor people. That's why it was created. I'm not making this up, people. It was so the rich people kept who they wanted as president. They didn't want the poor people to pick a president. Jefferson fought for freedom for white people in Spanish, while he killed every native tribe he could. He became president, yes. He cared about people, but guess what? Look how long it took for that whole thing to change place so that women and black people could vote. You know what year it was? Do you know anything about that part of history? 1920. In the early 20s and all that changed things. Native children were taken from 6 years old, put in a Catholic prison camp until they were 16, forced to drinking before they brought them back home. And they were all on reservations at that time. People, Native history is horrible. In the United States, the white people, Spanish people, don't care. Never did. When they put the Native people on these reservations, they said, what's the worst piece of land we have in the United States that will kill them if they live on it? And that's where they put them. Sadly, they adopted to where they were living. Not in a simple way, because it was freezing cold, heavy something, rain, different storms, and different environments and everything else that they were sure would kill him. But in the interim, Mr. Musk became super rich. Then when he came out with the Tesla car, it's not going to save us. It runs on a battery, people. A battery, people. A battery, people. Do you understand that? It's not free energy. We had a free energy car when I was little that ran on water. For real. Here in Hawaii, a few years ago, maybe 6 years ago, at the global event, Earth Day, they had 4 or 5 people with their cars there that they converted to run on water. And they were doing it for other people for $500. It's a strain on a car's system, and you lose your warranty if you do it. But you can get your car to run on water pretty simply. But in the interim, all right, that disappeared even. Nobody's talking about nobody doing it or anything else. All right, when something's going to change something, the government doesn't allow it. If you can't, like an electric company or the gas company, they wanted to change and open up a different company, you have to be able to support 40% of the country to be able to do something. So a gas company, an oil company starting, they can't do that right away. When I worked for Bell Atlantic and AT&T, at that time they split them up. And they made them 2 companies pay Singular and all the other companies $25 million then to catch up to us. All right, their system, we weren't allowed to have a franchise. And what happened after that went down? AT&T bought out other companies. Bell Atlantic switched and became Singular. I mean, they changed their names and they did everything else and became corporations again with different companies involved with them. So they lie about one thing to change it, to make it happen to something else, and it's still the same thing. Do you understand anything about what's happening, people? Anybody that's watching this, please send this to everybody you know, because Trump's not going to like it, Musk's not going to like it, the government's not going to like it. But I'm telling you the truth. And you don't have much time. We have, 15 days to make up our minds who we want to vote for? I mean, if you didn't make up your mind already, you're pretty much a loser. Because Trump is saying the most ridiculous, horrible statements, lies about everything he says, using foul language. And to the latest, what he talked about, a golfer's size of his penis, the future president of the United States. That's what he's going to talk about? I'm going to vote you because you said this golfer had a big thing. You know that. Really? When he attacks Kamala, her color, her race, he's prettier than her. He's pretty. Did anybody ever look Trump in the face? Could they say he's pretty at any level? And if you had a vision of Satan, you could probably put his picture right over it. But he's doing horrible things. Will do more horrible things to the poor and middle class. Bringing it easier for the New World Order to create one world order. Number 1 rule, eliminate the population. I don't know if you know the Gladstones, whatever they call it, they show 260,000 people left and what they predict and all that. Denver Airport is the home base of the New World Order, people, for real. Not going to go into the whole story right now. But people like Musk that has zero clue to what a real alien looks like, what inside a ship really looks like, what they're here for, and what he thinks he's going to get away with. He really thinks he's going to go to Mars and create a city up there. Anybody that can't realize, understand, if we can't make planet Earth better, we cannot make anything else better. As long as we're willing to kill each other. When the space program started, all the countries agreed to be one in space. Whatever happened to that? China went to the moon. They filmed something on the other side of the moon. They never released it to the United States, did they? When we went to the moon, they covered it up for a while. They said they lost the pictures, and Japan says, "Oh, we got all the pictures that aren't blocked out, like the ones they released." So, it's a crazy world, but it's not crazy to the rich assholes. They think they know what they're doing. They have no clue about a God, a real God, or anything about death. I've been writing to Trump and Musk every day since how many months now? Till the end of the election. After that, I can't. I'm not going to say a word because I can't. It doesn't matter. If you're not willing to listen right now, the only time we can make a big difference in who becomes our president, it won't matter. Well, she did this, she did that. Well, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. No, he's not. He's not God. He's not going to make people spiritual. He's not going to defend people with guns. He's going to let all his prisoners out of jail. He'll be evil. And much more when he has more power in his hands. How do you think Hitler became what he was? All those kind of people. They're massive killers. Putin talked to Trump a couple times. And now I don't know how many times he really talked to him on the phone or whatever that is. But 3 months before Trump was elected, for real, Russian TV, Putin did a special saying, I want Trump to tell the world what really happened at 9/11. This is for real, people. Then he said, Mr. Trump, I want you to tell the world what you're doing with aliens right now. Putin said this to Trump. He said it to him in person, but he also said this live on Russian TV. Right? Then he said, I want you to tell what races you're working with. And he said, look, we're working with 27 alien races. Putin said that. He said 2 of them want to destroy the planet. How would they know that either? The United States and Russia work together. All right. I can tell you books to read and things to find out a lot more truth, but you don't care. By the number of people that come and go in my show, I realize most people do not care. They're programmed into a sick belief and they accept it. Do you? Do you care what's happening? For real. Well, Trump gets in, he'll do what? He'll do what? He has no clue. He was never in a war situation. He didn't go in the Army, Navy, or Marines. Him and Musk are the only 2 people that never went in the Army or anything. And to have them say a word about it? Really? Over Kamala's partner? Vice president and things like that? Really? You need to talk to people that went to war. I know when I was 17, I tried to enlist. I took the test, and they decided they didn't want me. My brother went in and became a scientist in the Army. But again, at that time, a lot of my friends did go in and get into Vietnam. 3 of them came back crazy. Many of them didn't come back. And during that year, I lost 19 of my friends in 1 year. All my friends, including my girlfriend's brother, who I was really friends with. It was a horrible time for war. What reason was it? When a woman came out and says it's wrong and it's not right, they all attacked her. And then supposedly 3 people were killed and everything else, and they blamed her for that. War is not a friendship zone. It's not like, well, let's be buddies for now. I won't kill you today. I'll wait 10 more years to kill your country. China's been building armies and armies of cities and bases all around in the ocean. Why? They want to have children now. They're letting everybody keep their children, which they didn't do for a very long time. We weren't allowed to have a girl. They either killed them or sold them out, whatever. But now they want every man and person to have a child, or 2 or 3. They want to build their army bases all over the planet. People, they're not going to be friends with us ever, no matter what Trump says or thinks. Well, I'm friends with him. Really? And Putin's not friends with Trump. Not at all. He told them what to do. He said, tell the world what you're doing with aliens. Tell the world what really happened at 9/11. He did neither. I don't know what he expects Trump to say to him. Trump's having a war, killing people right now. Talk to a killer. You kill one person, you're a killer. You deserve to be in jail, not leading a country. People are so pathetically sick and unaware of the truth, never mind no awareness of a real God. They don't care. People don't want to know that there's a God, a real God up there. It's sad. They want to believe in the fairy tale of what God is and what everything else, like Jesus was. Jesus did not come to this planet to save everybody's sorry ass. Sorry, people. Now, this is for the Christians. I don't know what Trump pretends to be. He's nothing, but he's on his knees praying and puts angels in back of him thinking he's something. He's playing with Satan, not Lucifer. But again, what do you think is going to happen, people? What do you expect? What miracles do you want in your life that you think Trump's going to fulfill? He's going to take it away. He's working for the New World Order, even though he doesn't know what he's doing. And just because of that, they can use him very well. And when they all blame Kamala for the price increase and things like that, no, like she said it. She mentioned it once yesterday on the news. I didn't have power. Neither did Trump's vice president at that time either. They're vice president. They're not the president. They're there in case they do get taken out, and they have to have somebody in his place right away. But it's going to be a different world depending on who gets in and how you're going to live the rest of your life. What's going to happen, what's going to go down. It's not going to be good if Trump gets in. He's evil at every level. Let's talk about Trump a short little bit. You know who his friends were? You know Jeffrey Epstein? He was friends with him. For real. Oh, they were all AI pictures. Blah, blah, blah. No, he was friends with him. I'm 72. I was young when he was with him and hanging and all that kind of stuff. When the Lolita plane was in existence, going to Florida, taking all these famous people over there, it wasn't to have a drink and say hello. There was sexual things going on at every level. For real. Epstein had a list of everybody that ever went. And since they put him in jail, he was going to release it because he was getting blamed for it all. But at that point, guess what happened? He was inside the jail for what? 1 day? And he was on suicide watch. And he committed suicide. You know, they always use an excuse. Oh, I fell asleep, right? On suicide watch, you fell asleep, I'd put you in jail for life. The most important person coming out, exposing all these incredible names of child sex and all those kind of words that are real. What they did, all right? He was friends with him. There's many videos and pictures. They weren't all AI pictures. Guess who Trump's big buddy was for a couple years? Hugh Hefner. He even put his picture on the cover of Playboy magazine. Where was his ego at that time? All right. What do you think he went and did when he went there? Play hopscotch with Hugh Hefner? Really? They had a fight. Hugh Hefner threw him out and said, bye. All right. That's his friends, people. And now the sex charges, they kind of just drifted away. All his crimes drifting away. What kind of people are you? Do you stand up for your rights? Well, we elected what? People to vote for our vote? Electoral votes means there's a bunch of assholes sitting there to vote and decide what they want rather than what we want. Voting should be to the people, not to the people in power. Are you stupid enough to believe it's a good system? It was illegal from day one when they created it, when they created the Constitution. Poor people weren't allowed to vote. The same as women weren't allowed to vote. Black people weren't allowed to vote. Who was voting? Rich asshole men. People, do you understand that? Now, let's go in the right to bear arms. Do you know why it was okay in those days? You know, they had the cowboy days lasted about 70 years. And they realized well, people walking around with guns isn't too good of an idea. So then it became to a point, all right, why guns were legal to people? Because they got paid for shooting and scalping a person. Every person scalped they brought in, they got paid. A man scalped, they got a lot of money. A woman scalped, they got a lot of money. Child scalp, they got some money. But they got paid for all three. So how many people you think were going out just shooting Native people and getting scalps and making money? While the government supported it and paid for it. And you think the United States is bad. Trump goes, oh, people coming into it. Who came into the United States and slaughtered 50 million Native people? And I keep saying to Trump, who brought you into this country? Who said you should come in? You're his family. Anybody's family that came in here. I know my family came in on a boat. Part of my heritage, at least. And their names were put on a wall in New York. The New York wall with all the boats coming in. All the people came off and had their names put on that wall. But again, what was going on at that time frame? Harlem in New York City had the first big millionaire house, headquarters for Mr. Washington. I did a whole year, almost a year and a half of UFO, more so ghost busting there as well, because there were so many people killed there. I don't know if you know the story of Aaron Burr in Hamilton. Aaron Burr died in the house. He killed Hamilton because he called the owner of the house, Madame Jumel, a sleazy whore. But again, what was going on at that time frame? Killing. Good people just killing each other. We had the wars going on in the United States. And then figuring out how Spanish became the secondary language, which everybody has to listen to things in Spanish until they get back to the English. What was going on, people? If you understand the Constitution, the rest of the rules, freedom of speech. To say what? What you're allowed to say. That's not freedom of speech. If I say I want to kill the president tomorrow, I could be put in jail today. You know, we don't have freedom of speech. We never did. The rich people could say whatever they want. Look at what Trump's saying. Look at what Musk is doing. Now Musk is giving these millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to Trump. Why? Because if Kamala gets in, rich people are going to pay their equal taxes, which they should be paying. And if Trump stays in, he will not take money away from Musk because Musk is supporting him. Meaning Musk won't have to pay the highest taxes if he's the first trillionaire in the United States. Now, on top of that, why Trump and Musk are friends? Do you know anything about Musk's space program? Who's funding it? It's not coming out of his money, people. The U.S. government's paying for it. Why? But again, he's not spending his money. How do you think he's becoming rich? Oh, I'm going to give everybody an internet. What's it going to cost? $120 a month? But to buy the equipment could be anywhere from $500 to $2,500. How's that going to be? What's that about? Money people only care about making more money. I live with two millionaires. One was a billionaire, really. If you go, I'm not going to say it. I don't want to get that person involved with my life because I had to get out of his. But he was a billionaire. And he lost a lot of money when the stock market crashed, that's for sure. But again, I lived there for about a year and a half. And watched how cheap he was. Rich people don't spend money simply for, well, I can do it. I mean, Elvis gave cars away. Elvis was a kind person. He wasn't a trillionaire or anything either, was he? The people that care, all right, Musk cares about him. Trump cares about him, not about anybody else. Trump calls people's names and says ridiculous things. Did you watch the movie of we eat cats and dogs, blah, blah, blah? But again, when he came out and said that, oh, only these people coming into our country, crossing the border, eat cats and dogs. Really? Go to other countries. You eat what you can, what you have to. All right? If he was starving in the jungle, who would he eat? What would he eat? Then when the airplane, the story about the true story that happened, the plane crashed, they ate the people that were frozen and dead. And how do we know they didn't kill one last person to eat them to survive? I mean, that was a horrible situation. But people that want to survive will do anything they can. I know I couldn't kill somebody to eat them. Or eat somebody that died. And then not take responsibility for it either. But people, we're being controlled, programmed as zombies. Not we, yous. You don't know the truth. You don't know why aliens are doing what they're doing, why they're here, what the government's intentions really are for what. If you deal with psychics, real psychics like Sean David Martin, Michael Scallion was a top psychic up until 1995. He prophesied what's going to happen to the world, the oceans taking over the coastlines and all that. He did maps of it and everything, but he kind of disappeared into the woodwork. Sean David Martin became the top psychic in the United States. Rated 87% compared to the other famous people at like 37 and all that, because they were never right on anything. Well, most things. You say 100 things, maybe 1 or 2 are going to happen. I can give you a prophecy. I was prophesizing every major earthquake for years. There's this guy online, he prophesies everything that's happening in the earthquake chart. If you want the truth, there's places to find it. Not on TV, and a lot of sites, when these people write, you can't comment to them. Which I do to these people, Musk, Gates, and Trump, and all those kind of people. I said, if you grow a pair of balls and want to talk, let's talk. I don't even want to talk to Trump. He's too ignorant. Musk is pretty ignorant because he wants to go to Mars. He wants to spend all his money that he gets to go to Mars. And I said, you don't know the history of Mars. You don't know what's really going on Mars. If you knew people in the government, you would know. And I told him, find somebody in MJ12. But again, he won't and he can't. I knew a person in MJ12. I had all the information. All the things that came out about what program it was and this and that, he was releasing it. They told him he was allowed to release certain things. But he released the wrong thing. They killed his family, and then they killed him. I have 16 of my friends that were killed. 2 put in a nut house and 1 put in jail. So guess what? The government doesn't want certain things out. Why they don't take me out? Who knows? Maybe by the time of the end of this election, I will be. But look, no matter what you hear, I'm here to put the truth out there, not lies. Snowden can't come back into this country. He might have had some truth, but he didn't have all of it. He doesn't even know anything about aliens. So he's useless in my book. If you don't know what really is going on, how the Mayans were created, the Aztecs were created, and what went down, and they weren't out there building pyramids for no reason. They weren't destroyed for no reason. There's a Mexican find going on right now. There was a whole city of aliens living there. They're digging, and all they do is pull up more artifacts of aliens' history, artifacts of what they do and did, and how they did this and that and the other thing. All right? But, important things aren't shown to the world because they won't deal with it. Most religious people, Christians in general, can't deal with the fact that aliens brought us here. Or, not that they really did, but there's a difference between a deity and an alien and a god. There is only one God. So everybody that's called a god is not a god. The god of Atlantis, the god of this, the god of the sea, god of... No, they're not gods. And to prove that they were real is another story as well. When you prove something, it has to be something that most people can contemplate on and say, hey, that's real. A video and a picture is not real enough anymore. You can make a video or a picture of anything you want and it'll look real. When you go to the movies, there's no dragons. Those people aren't being blown up in a car. All the things you see aren't real. But it looks real. And if I told you it was real, you would believe it. People, we're running out of time. In a day's coming, you really need to think about what you want out of life. Something that you don't think about, what you want out of death. Do you want to live in purgatory for the rest of your life for a word? Do you want to live in hell the rest of your life for a word? Would you at least like to have a little bit of freedom and enjoy having children for a couple years? It's not going to last either. No civilization lasted. Do you understand that? No alien race came here to save the planet and the people on it. Never happened. Never will. Aliens are below us. Technology doesn't mean you're spiritual, and it's actually the opposite. Men have their only passion that they have is making a better toy. A faster car, a bigger gun, whatever. It's the toys they play with. It has nothing to do with God. Nobody cares. Nobody understands why God created us in the first place. Why it created hell. Why there's aliens coming here, killing us and eating us. Why all these things. It doesn't fit into their programmed idea of what religion is, what spiritual means. I ask people what spiritual means. Nobody can answer it. Oh, well, type spiritual. What's it say? All right. You know what it says? This is what it says. Definition of spiritual.
Here's the definition of spiritual: relating to or affecting the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things.
Wow. That gave us a lot, didn't it? Do you know what that means? Do you know what soul is? What it does, how it works, how it functions, why it's in the body? All right, people. I can go on, but if you even got this far, it's an incredibly lucky thing for me and you. But people aren't ready to deal with what's going to happen. And Kamala could get in, which I really hope, and I really believe she will. People with any kind of a brain are going to vote for her. People with no brain are going to follow Trump. All right? But when it's over, what do you want to happen? What do you expect to see? Men become spiritual? Can either one of them create that to happen? Compassion is one thing that Kamala can teach, Trump can't. But spiritual? Church doesn't teach you what spiritual means. Religions can't teach you what spiritual means. Take one of my classes, listen to one of my shows about religion. Learn the simple techniques and things you can do to find out what spiritual means to you. Well, everybody has their own truth. The truth is that most people don't accept there is only one God. Not two, not three, not four, not 100. One. And science doesn't want you to believe that either. Want you to believe in delusional ideas. All right. God made everything. Well, why would it do this? Why would it do that? Just because you don't know the reason doesn't mean it didn't happen. You don't know why you're here even. 99.9% of the people have no clue of their past lives. Why? Because they really don't care either. And they'd rather reincarnate over and over because they can have sex, drink, and do drugs and all that. It's not going to be like that if they leave the lower realm. Well, how about having relationships? Higher realms, you don't have a relationship with people like you do here. So it's a trip, people, and it's not going to be easy when you start it. The hardest spot for me was to take a step forward spiritually. Because you got to let go of almost everything you believe in because it's all lies. You think Trump could tell you one important thing? Kamala could teach you about compassion and family and things like that. Trump can't. He's a pervert. When he said, I love women, he loves women as what? Sexual objects. When he married his wife, how did he pick her up? And what was she? It's sexual. Everything that he does is sexual when it comes to women, not compassion or the word LOVE for real. People, if you want a person that talks like shit in the locker room, a person that acts like a sick person all the time, he's going to be such an old man. He'll be the oldest president ever. If you want that, when he can't bring balance to society right now, can't say good things. A good person would be saying what they can really do for the middle class and poor people right now. Trump can't do that. He has no clue how to help poor people other than shoot them, kill them. What's he going to try to do? Get everybody out of the country? He even said he wants to export the Chinese. Try to do that without Chinese getting mad at him. He's deceiving his own mind. He's evil on top of all that. Musk is more evil. And I say this to both of them. In the Bible, which is partially true. I mean, things were written, but a lot of it was reworded. But in the Bible, supposedly, which Jesus did say, and I'll say that for a fact, and I totally know it's true, that it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. Why would he say that? Why would he say it 3 times? Because rich people think they could buy their way into heaven. Like Mr. Trump. He can't, and he won't. He'll be dealing with karma for many lifetimes. And Musk, I feel sorry for what's going to happen to him. $1 trillion sitting somewhere when he could feed the whole planet. Imagine that. You take 8 billion people and multiply it by what? 1 trillion? The difference there, what he could do for people, poor people, starving people, homeless people, sex children, sex slaves, and things like that, what he could do for everything. And he wants to go to Mars. It's more important to go to Mars. He wants to build a space center with United States money in Texas, where his company is right now, Starlink, Spacelink, whatever it is. Do you care? Do you want the truth or not? Please, if you're listening to this, you got this far, send a link to everybody you know. We're running out of time. About 15 more days, and there's going to be a new president. Good, better, and different. We're headed that way. And you have an ability to help that. Well, my vote's not going to count. If everybody in the United States said that, guess what? Trump would just become president. You know, we have to change the electoral vote, which we can't do right now, but I write to Biden, well, do what Trump would do. Impeach it. Remove the law. What can a president do? If Mr. Trump can do anything he wants, Biden's president, why can't Biden do anything he wants? Like block the electoral vote. People vote is what we vote, not what somebody else votes. Do you people care? I'm tired. The show is coming to an end. Hope you got something out of it. Email me anytime. Hawksblood1AOL.com. I answer my letters. Reply. Good, bad, or indifferent. But if you want the truth about aliens, government, what's really going down, anytime. So until next time, people. I'm not going to give anybody else, especially Trump, any kind of publicity. But check out his song. I don't think it's funny. Most people crack up when they hear it. But the idea of eating dogs, cats, anything like that is pathetically sick. All right, people. Till next time. From Hawaii, over and out.